Hey guys, Joseph Baba Ifa here on the channel, connecting you to your destiny once again. Coming at you with a new video today on Ori, the internal destiny. If you haven't had the opportunity, please go ahead and tap on that subscribe button. Ori, probably the most important aspect of our whole faith, right? The whole faith of Ifa and spirituality of Ifa rests upon this thing right here, our head. Without our head, there is no such thing as life. Our destiny sits there, our thought process sits there. It is most necessary when it comes to being able to live. So this is why the Yorubas were able to identify that without this, we have no existence. Therefore, we should base our faith around this. And within Ori lives our internal destiny, right? Or our destiny, really. And also lives the personal extension of Olodumare, or God, in every single one of us. Because for us to be able to exist, there's always multiple aspects of our being. And one of those aspects has to be divine. Because if we look at human beings, nothing short of divine. We do have mortal aspects, but look at all the divine things that we do. We procreate, by the grace of women. We are creators. We are inventors. We are people who create things. We're able to think. We're able to visualize. We're able to put things into manifestation. And that's the same thing that God did, or Obatala did, or Odoo, Ogun, all these guys who were there when it came to creation and constructing destinies and heads. That in itself was a divine act, and it is reiterated by human beings on a daily basis, right? So Ori is nothing more than that. Our personal extension of Olodumare within us, right? And it's sometimes even referred to as Eleda. And the word Eleda means creator. And that's why sometimes you'll hear Kiobori Eleda or Ibori Eleda, which means I'm offering to Ori where the creator rests, or to my personal creator, right? And it's very important for us to be aligned with Ori, because if our head is not aligned and our destiny is not aligned with our ese, or feet, where desire sits, that's when we start going through negative times, where we don't fulfill our destiny or do the things we're meant to do at any given moment. That's why it's so important to have Ori aligned and consecrated. Now, there's a pretty big debate going on now with Ori, right? Because there's a lot of people who say, why do I have to consecrate Ori if I was born with Ori, or my head? And that is perfectly legitimate. Now, when we're talking about consecrating Ori, the icon of Ori is not replacing our head. What it is, though, is it's symbolizing us fulfilling our debt with our destiny here on earth. That way, we harmonize ourselves with our surroundings. So when we do consecrate Ori, or we fulfill our debts, or find out what we promised our destiny, or possibly various Orishas before we came down from heaven, we basically consecrate this icon to let nature know or interact with us on a level, recognizing, hey, I was able to fulfill this promise. And that's what the Ile Ori actually represents. Ile means house, and Ori means destiny, or head. So the house of our destiny, which is that nice, beautiful icon that you see that has cowries and sometimes a mirror, maybe an akalama bull bird on top, all of those things. So that's what that really represents. It's not that that is going to replace our Ori, or that the offerings we give to our head, we don't give to our head no more, and we give it to that icon. By no means. It's nothing more than a symbol of us fulfilling our debt, and so nature can recognize that and thus harmonize us with the surroundings around us, right? So that's first and foremost, and obviously everyone needs this. These are deities that compose our being, and the ones that have come out beforehand, whether it be Egbe, who is our divine twin, we have to be aligned with them. Ajay, we need Ajay because we have to be able to survive, and money's a big part of that. We need Egungun because we need to, be aligned with our ancestors so things can progress. And we definitely need Ori so that we're aligned with our destiny. And we must fulfill our debt with our own head so that we're aligned and we're moving forward and achieving things, right? Very important, because everybody who comes down from heaven or is born is meant to achieve things. And we do this by way of Ori. Some people base their whole priesthood on this icon. And believe me, they're always busy because there's so many verses of Ori, and there's a verse of Ori in every Odoo and a mention of it that, it really is something that can be time consuming, and you definitely want to be prepared before you start consecrating something like this, or interacting or allowing somebody to interact with your Ori, because it is a very delicate thing. It's almost like spiritual brain surgery. When we start invoking Ori and having Ori open up and expose itself spiritually, we have to make sure we're very coherent and concise with our actions, because a negative or an incoherently done ceremony to Ori can cause really negative effects to the client. So obviously we don't want to do that. Find yourself a competent Babalao. We're here to serve, right? So when we talk about Ori, the Odoo that speaks most heavily about it is going to be the Odoo of Eyobe, or Ejiobe, where it speaks of where Ori, or the head, assumed its position on the body, where it went through its great ceremony to be cleansed and consecrated, which is kind of what occurs when we consecrate Ori. There's various things that are done to be able to prepare it and clean it from any spiritual jet lag with which the person came down from heaven with. And it occupied its space and was able at that point to be identified as the most important part of the body, because without a head, the body falls. And that's where the proverb, the head carries the body, comes from in the Odoo of Eyobe, because without it, the body was basically fumbling around. It didn't know where to go, what to do, even the other aspects of the face and everything. Everybody wanted to be around Ori because they realized that's where progress was coming from. And even us as human beings, it's the same thing. If we want to progress, we have to consecrate Ori and see what is it that Ori wants for us to be able to move forward, right? So very beautiful ceremony, very beautiful concept. The whole spirituality is based on this because it is the manifestation of Olodumare here on earth. And it's the most basic and most important aspect of what we do. Everything that we do within this spirituality is to realign and refresh Ori. Recently, someone asked me, what is the purpose of Ebo? The purpose of Ebo is nothing more than to cleanse Ori by way of the Ierosum, right? And the offerings that are being provided, and to realign Ori by the sacrifices, to be able to help it move forward. When we're talking about the consultation of Ifa, everything that we're marking is to technically realign Ori. So let's say you came out that you had to offer 4 apples to Shango, and you have to put a glass of water behind your front door. These are things that Ori, by way of the Igbo, is identifying as necessary for it to be able to realign itself. Because if Shango wants something, Ori is disaligned because Shango is not in vibration or in sync with it. Or the glass of water that has to do with that spirit that lives behind your door, Ori needs that there so this doesn't cause any infrequency. And once we do all those things, we realign Ori and thus Ebo, or the various Ebos. Everything that we mark or that we do is nothing more than to realign Ori or harmonize our Ori or our destiny with our surroundings. Because when we harmonize our destiny or our head with the world around us, we live a beautiful life. And this is why people's situations can be so different, right? Because let's say we live in the same place and we have so many things in common, but my life goes much better than possibly yours. It's because I'm living in harmony with my situation by way of my Ori than you are. And maybe I haven't sacrificed anything, but I have good conduct. I'm organized. Maybe I selected a destiny that made it easier to assimilate here on earth. Everybody comes with different debts. When we look at the Odoo of Obeonu, it says that Ori was constructed by way of Orishanla or Obadala in his manifestation of Ijala or Ajala, depending on how you say it. And Ajala constructed Ori, and he had a very strenuous job. I mean, all day he's at the potter's wheel just really constructing Ori. Not everybody's is going to come out perfect. But the beautiful thing about Ifa is Orumila is known as the repairer of destiny. That's why we receive Orumila. So he tells us what we need to do to repair our Ori, depending on which state it came in. And by no means did anybody come down here perfect. That's why everybody has problems, because we're constantly in this balancing act of our destiny and our head and the divine with the world, right? So that's why we're constantly offering to be able to harmonize ourselves with that. But Ori is a beautiful concept. Offerings to Ori, they're very numerous because everybody's head is different. Everybody has different spiritual deficiencies. It really comes by way of divination and your sign of hand of Ifa, which is technically your Odoo of Ori, because it is the Odoo or the sign of your destiny. The Orumila is the revealer of destiny, the voice of Olodumare, and thus the revealer of Ori, or he who interacts to perfection with Ori. once again in the Odoo of Eyobe. So offerings to Ori are really based on you and your spiritual DNA, which comes by way of the double helix that is a sign of Ifa, you know, ones, twos, zeros, CGs, etc. So very important to, you know, have those habits of Ori very in check, because at least if we take care of Ori and we take care of Eshu, life is is stable. Everything after that is progress. So as long as Ori is in line and we have Eshu in line, everything else can go great. It just might take a little more effort, but anything after that is luxury. But Ori and even Eshu, which occupies Ipako, or the back of the head, is beyond necessary. That's non-negotiable. So another thing about Ori, characterized by the white cloth, depending on if it's in line with your sign. There are people who wear different colors. Really important concept, and one that I feel sometimes isn't given the attention it needs, and it might come from people not understanding the magnitude of what we have above our shoulders. But guys, that's Ori, a little bit of the explanation of what it is to consecrate Ori, what Ori represents, a couple of the Odoos that talk about it. Definitely could you know, come out with 100 videos on Ori. And I'm sure it's going to spawn a bunch of questions, and be sure to leave those in the comments, apart from liking, sharing, and definitely subscribing. We appreciate all of the support. Joseph Baba Ifa, Botanica, Candles, and More. And guys, every morning, a great habit to have, even before you say anything to anybody, get on your knees, you know, out of bed if you can, or even if you can't kneel, you know, take your hands, cover, you know, touch Ori, rub Ori back and forth, and invoke for all the positive things that you want. The first thing or person we should speak to every morning is our destiny, right? To help repair it, to reorganize it, and it's a great way to have a conversation with the Most High. So little free tip there. It works wonders, I assure you. Life will change. So guys, God bless you. Be sure to attend to Ori. Any questions, we're here. Botanica, Candles, and More for consults, shirts, products. Us here, our consultation services, botanicacandlesandmore.com or 407-440-2086. And we sincerely appreciate you guys. May Ori bless you. May Olodumare bless you. May the Orishas bless us all. And God bless us all. Buru boya. Take care.